shoulders day today. So I've just done 10 minutes on the max trainer. Went pretty hard actually. I think I burnt the most calories that I've burnt at all on any of the 10-minute warm-ups I've done so far. So I'm pretty warm, heart rate is up. I'm going to do a couple of shoulder stretches that I typically do before a shoulder routine. One of which, I turn sideways, palm up, palm down on the other side. And I want to twist as much as possible while also sort of pulling back. I twist to the extreme and I go to the other side and I twist. I twist back this way, and if you've got any dodgy elements in your shoulders, you will crack all of those out of your shoulders just by doing this. And I try and do 20 or so reps each side. Often I have to keep reminding myself to pull back a bit as I'm twisting. But when my left shoulder stops cracking, typically that is when I know I've done enough, or I've done a good amount at least. That really does burn the shoulders, really warms you up. Then I've got a band here attached to my pull-up bar. I'm gonna wrap my hand into it, grab that band, step back so there's a load of tension on it, try and square my shoulders off, but this naturally is pulling me forward. So, and I want it to pull me forward a little bit, and then I want to try and rotate as far as I can each way. You may, in this angle, you may want to help assist it so you can twist it a little bit more with the help of your other hand, and it really helps to loosen those shoulders, get them warmed up. Now you probably don't need to do more than 10 to 15 each way. You will notice when you do aid it with the other hand, you can twist much further, so it gives even more of a stretch on the shoulder. Okay, while I'm still holding the band, I'm now going to step out, right arm back, right foot forward. And I will try, you don't need to square your shoulders off much. There's a big stretch going right through my shoulder, into my chest, and this will stretch through your bicep as well. But if you can try and square off slightly on your shoulders, really enhance that stretch, and do the same thing that we did before. So just twisting as far as you can one way and the other. Get a dozen or so of these. Obviously it's a good stretch to do before a chest workout as well, but if you're stretching all areas around the shoulder and bits that connect into the shoulder, upstream, downstream, it's just going to take some of the tension out of your shoulders so they're a bit looser and less vulnerable, less likely to get injured. And if you have pre-existing injuries, these are really good things to do beforehand. I'm also going to do this stretch. So again, my right arm is on the band, my left foot forward. What I'm going to do is go elbow up to the ceiling and almost look to the ceiling as well. And I'm going to sit back into it. You get a massive stretch down your side and your lats. And I'm going to twist that hand as well to the end range as much as possible each way. Then I'm going to switch to the other side. Do exactly the same thing. Right. Just going to re-grip on that. Didn't feel ideal. Got my watch on this hand, so it always gets in the way a little bit. Okay, left arm back, left foot forward. Try and square that shoulder region off slightly. I know I'm not square, but just slightly, and get a really good stretch through the chest, upper chest, through the shoulders. And as you twist here, you really feel the bicep as well. You can even feel the stretch going down through your forearms a little bit. Right, step back, right foot forward for stability, elbow up, look up, sit back into it a little bit, and then just get those rotations going. And now I'm going to go on to another couple of banded warm-up sets, just to get my pressing warmed up, that motion. Ready to go into my dumbbell presses, as opposed to my military press, which I used to do, a barbell military press. I don't do that so much now, the standing press, just to avoid the compression on my core and my lower back. So I do seated dumbbell presses instead, but these are great warm-ups for both. So I do 2 sets of these. Now with the band, it's just a light band, it's nothing crazy. Obviously I don't want to exhaust my shoulders before I start working out, but I step out, so there's a bit of tension on the band, and then I want to get myself into that starting position that you would typically be if you were doing a military press. So it's elbows forward, and I want to press up and out. And this is going to activate all the stabilizing muscles around the shoulder. So when you go into your free weights, you are much more controlled at the top of that movement and all the way throughout. So you press up, hold for a couple of seconds, and I want 2 sets of 15. And you can adjust it as you go if you feel you want to get more tension on it. So step out even more. Lost count of what I did there, but good reps anyway, so we'll have a small little break. Do 15 reps again, I will count them this time. And then my shoulders are going to be nice and warmed up, ready to go into my first exercise. Okay, 15 reps. I'm squeezing my glutes as well in this as I go through the movement. definitely warms up the shoulders. It's really good. Now, so I'm going to be starting with seated dumbbell press. Okay, so I'm going to be doing seated dumbbell press. Technically it's a military press that I do, and the reason I do that is because I want to promote external rotation through my shoulder joint so that I'm in the strongest position for the shoulder and it's in its most supported position from that original externally rotated position. So I start here and I press out and I twist at the top, but I come back to that starting position. I do not start out here, because if you're out here, essentially you're in more of an internally rotated position, and you want to create your own external rotation. And with dumbbells it's very easy, you just have the knuckles facing outwards. Also, it does make the movement harder, but I'm also trying to work through a real full range of motion, bringing it right down and then pressing out of the hole in the strongest position, rather than being in a weak position here but under the most amount of stress when the weight is down there, and trying to press out of that position. That's what tears your shoulder. Yeah, external rotation. Try and create torque on any movement that you do. It's really important. And the way to do it is, if you're holding onto a barbell or anything like that, or a chin-up bar, pull-up bar, pretend like you are bending the bar, trying to bend the bar, and that will bring your elbows in, but that then gets your shoulders into more of an externally rotated position. So you're pulling on a pull-up, you're here pulling up. You're not going here, because again, very weak shoulder position. So I'm going to start this exercise much like I did on my chest routine, where I'm going to start with my heaviest working set. Now typically I don't do that on my shoulder routine. Normally I do just 4 sets, with the 4th set being my heaviest set, and that's the one I go to failure on. The other 3 sets are essentially just warming me up for that set, but I don't go to failure on any of them. So I decided, actually it is just more efficient to try and go to failure on all 4 of your sets. And if you pre-fatigue yourself from the first set, you know, so you go to failure on your first set, heavy, then you drop down the weight, it's not going to take as many reps to go to failure on that. So you can go to failure again, and then drop the weight down again, and still go to failure without having to do, 20, 30 reps to get failure on a certain light weight. Just do your heavy weight first. So I'm going to work up to that set, doing some warm-up sets, and yeah, just try and activate, a small percentage, like recruit a few more muscle fibers each and every set that I go up in weight, until I'm within spitting distance of that working set, and then I'll just go to failure on that set and see how many I can get. I'm going to go up to the 29 kilo dumbbells. So I'm going to start, I believe, probably on the 13 kilo dumbbells, and just do 3 reps. 3 reps for each of these warm-up sets, and I'll try and do 4 sets. Right, I've got the 13 kilo dumbbells. Ready to rock and roll. First warm-up set of 4 as I work my way towards the 29s for the first working set. Again, these are pretty light, so I will swing them up without any real risk of injury. Starting position. So now, at this time, I've recruited all the muscle fibers to lift this weight. They're activated, ready. I just reinforce it with the 3rd rep. Come back down. Swap over the weights. Jump them up to the 18 kilo dumbbells. For the next 2 sets, I'll probably balance them on my knees and give it a bit of a helping hand up. The heavier I go, the more vulnerable you are if you are just swinging them up. So try not to do that as I go heavier, but the first set is fine. It's nice and light relative to my strength. Okay, 3 reps on this. With the first rep, basically as I'm doing the first rep, it will be recruiting and activating more muscle fibers in my shoulders in order to lift this weight. So first rep is typically harder, doesn't go up as smoothly as the second rep, because when you come down for the second rep, all the muscle fibers are activated for this weight. They're all ready to push right from the bottom, and that's why the second reps are nice and easy in comparison to the first set, as long as it's not like a 2 rep max or something like that you're doing. Assuming you've got at least 10 reps in, first rep is always harder than the second. Okay, as I press this up, all the muscle fibers are activating. As I come down, they're all ready to go now. Second rep, nice and easy. Third rep just reinforces it all. I know I'm prepped at that weight. Okay, I have the 22 kilo weights now. Again, 3 more reps. Again, this is just going to recruit a few more of the muscle fibers, just going to activate a few more of the muscle fibers in the shoulders. So we're just slowly but surely activating more and more muscle fibers ready to go for that heavy set, and we're not asking the body to go from a lightweight to a heavyweight relative to my strength levels in one jump, because that gets a bit much. On that first rep you can end up, causing yourself a problem because you're asking your body to recruit too many muscle fibers in one hit. So just small little jumps up in weight, never asking your muscles to recruit, hypothetically more than 15-20% of your available muscle fibers in each of the muscle cells. So, right, 22s, 3 reps again. Okay, first rep. Now I'm activated for this weight, and I just reinforce it. Right? I'm going to put this on. Again, just always concerned about my lower back. It never hurts to have a bit more stability in your vulnerable areas. Right, well, I've got the 27 kilos out, so literally I'm 2 kilos away from what my working set will be. I may do 3 reps on this, I may just do 2 reps. But either way, it will activate all the muscle fibers required to lift the 27 kilos, and then when I go to the 29s, it's just a fraction more muscle fibers that need activating. So yeah, we're pretty much primed to go in and go to failure on that first working set. Slowly but surely, if you take the time to warm up properly, you're minimising your risk of injury when you go heavy. And if you can get through those heavy sets going to failure, get some really good reps without injury, you just maximise your gains. So yeah, it will lead to rapid change in your physique, in your strength levels, and you can keep progressing because you're not getting injured. So that's good. So take the time to warm up properly and do these types of warm-up sets if you're starting on your heaviest working set. If you're not, then you don't need to worry about these warm-up sets. You're basically warming yourself up as you go up in weight for each of your sets if you start light and go through to heavy. Right, anyway, 27s. This is where I start having a bit of a struggle getting them into place, but it may be a little bit ugly, but we do what we can. Okay. Right, should be activated now. Just do the 2 reps. Okay. Right, all warm-up sets are done. Yeah, decent. Not sure how this will go. This is typically, as I said, my 4th set. I was last week, let me just double check what it says. I was starting on the 15 kilos, did 12 reps, then I went to the 20 kilos, did 10 reps, then I went to the 25 kilos, did 10 reps, and then I went to the 29s and I got 8 reps. Although it's taken me a few weeks to be able to get 8 reps on the 29s. I've been trying this weight for about 3 weeks now, and I'm sure I got maybe 5 the first week, 6.5 maybe the second week, and I got 8 last week. So, you know, it's progressing, but I've never done it as my first working set, so it's a bit of a fact finder for me as well. So we will see how we go.